Alrighty traders, I'm going to be giving you a update on the Gdxj, the GDX in this video, the gold mining stocks indexes. I'm going to share with you what I'm seeing right now, a bit of an update, technical analysis update on these mining or gold mining stocks, and what's happening right now, what's likely to happen moving forward. Let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty guys, let's get straight into it. I am running I've just opened up a few spots to my private weekly coaching program, 12-month, and I'm running a 50% off sale. Very first link in the description if you're interested in that. Moving over now through to the Gdxj. And what's happening with the Gdxj? Firstly, let's go have a look at that weekly chart. The weekly chart is always king. Weekly chart, the trend is your friend until the end. And if you are trading the markets, that weekly chart is your big overall trend, especially if you're an investor in these markets. You want to be watching the weekly charts because that's the most important part there. Now, moving over through to the Gdxj, and what do we see here? Let's actually squeeze this right up. The first thing that I see here happening with the Gdxj is you can see we have absolutely been doing nothing at all through for a long time, and now we actually sort of poked our head back above here, just back above 60, and now we're getting a very nice bit of a pullback through here. So you can see that we went through what I call the calming period, the calm before the storm period. We did nothing for a long time. Now remember guys, this is a weekly chart, and this is why it's so important to be patient, guys, okay? Just because we don't see an uptick in gold and silver or the mining stocks today or this week or next week doesn't mean that we're not in play. The stock market is here for patience, and patience will be rewarded. Patience out and patience in. Patience out waiting for good setups and good patterns to form. And then when you're in the trade, patient in the trade and letting the market unfold up and down, and from that, okay? Patience in, patience out. Now, moving over through to... So let's go have a look at what's going on right now with this. So we have this higher high up here, guys, and the market doesn't do this for no reason, okay? And this is why the weekly chart, the weekly chart is the master time frame. And this pullback here, there's a high probability, even if we do get more of a bit of a drop in the Gdxj, we're likely to continue. We're likely to start seeing this again soon, and this next leg up is going to be really, really strong. The trend is your friend until the end, okay? Look at this back here. When the market was in a downward trend, and whether you're going to say manipulation, you know, JP Morgan and all this sort of stuff you have in your mind, just bring it back to simple. Where is the master time frame? Master time frame, guys, remember that. Master time frame is the ocean. And as you can see from here, we had a run down, we had a lower high, lower high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, an equal high. And look what happened here. And then we went through a lower high, and then we started to do this. And notice how once we did that, that's when things changed. But notice how when we started to break above these highs, that was those highs through here, that's when the market started to change. And then we went through a sideways period. So the market, if there's sort of three trends we want to be keeping an eye for. If the weekly chart is in a strong upward trend or a strong downward trend, don't fight that. But sometimes you can get the market doing this, where it's doing sideways. There's not much going on there. Now, I also get excited when this happens as well too. Why? Because the longer this goes on, the bigger the breakout. And the bigger the breakout, the bigger the risk to reward on my trade or investment that I'm looking at. So that's what I'm seeing through here as well too. I'm seeing that since 2014, we've done nothing. And now we've just broken out. And people that are getting so impatient right now in the GDX, on this little pullback here, and if I go to the Dow Jones, if I go to the daily charts, people are so patient. Remember guys, patience in, patience out. Patience out, waiting for good trades and good setups. Waiting, right? And then when you're in a good investment or a good trade, just be patient with it. Make sure if you're in a trade, if you're in a trading setup where you're trading the markets, make sure you have your risk and the reward, where you're going to have your stop and so on and so forth. And if you're investing long term, then again, make sure you have your areas where you say, you know what, this is where I'm going to be getting out for a loss or for a profit. But as you can see, the market's not doing anything through. The market's not doing anything through here, and people that get so impatient lose out in the long run. Like if you look at Bitcoin, what did Bitcoin do? Bitcoin did nothing for 12 months. And those people that bought Bitcoin within that 12 months and just patient, guess what? They're now getting rewarded handsomely. And I believe that's what's going to happen to the Gdxj as well too. So we may see a more of a downside move here on the short term. But the long term, that picture there over the next few months, I see this thing starting to pick up. So really, 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 really exciting stuff happening there on the Gdxj. And if I bring up some good old trend lines, here is some support and resistance lines that I see across the board. So let me actually take that off the screen, and you can see here that there's actually a lot of different support levels right around where we are now. So really, 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 if we do just start to drop down below here, there's actually maybe that's a little bit lower. Maybe it's somewhere around about there. I'm just trying to find there. So this whole level from 50 down to 45, guys, is a significant support level. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see the mining stocks start to pick up again soon out of this here. So really, really, really interesting on the Gdxj there. Let's go have a look at the GDX and do the exact same analysis on the GDX. And we can see that, GDX, let's go to GDXJ. And you can see with the GDX is doing something very, very similar, isn't it? We had a move up, nice strong move up, and now we're getting a bit of a pullback. And as you can see, right, we've got a very, very nice pullback out of the markets here. And as you can see, right, we definitely get a nice pullback here. So I would once again be expecting to see some form of a higher low here and here, a higher low before we start to see this. Now, if we can start to see move up, move down, and even if we do continue down a little bit more, and then we start to see that, and then a breaking above 45, that would be very powerful to start to see probably this thing start to move up massively overall, and probably see above, say, 70 move. And so once again, you can see this thing has a sideways movement through here. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys, when it comes to, you know, the GDX and the GDX and the Gdxj. If you look at these daily charts here, guys, we're in a bit of a small downward channel through here. And again, this is part of the pullback, and people get so cranky and so frustrated and so impatient and so on and so forth. It's so important, traders, if you want to become part of this trading world and actually do well, the number one lesson that comes to me all the time and that I get rewarded when I employ it is, guess what? Patience. Patience, 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 patience. And the issue that I find with a lot of traders right now, especially with the mining stocks, is that they've put everything they have into the market right now and hoping it's going to go up tomorrow. That's not the right way to go, guys. It really isn't. Now, I believe that we're going to see, over the next 2 years, we're going to see a lot higher prices. But hear what I just said, 2 years. Not, oh, well, it's definitely going to hold here and we're not going to go down. If you're trying to pick the exact bottom in the markets by investing in the gold and the Gdxj and the GDX, and you're trying to invest and hold, that's the wrong thing to do. It really, really, really is the wrong thing to do. Because just like this weekly chart, see how this thing takes time. This whole, from here to here was just a bit over 4 months. And now we're having, 3.5. It may continue down for another 3.5 more months. But I see so many times, and I've learned this lesson in the past, and now I'm getting better at it. I'm not perfect at it, but being patient within the markets. And guys, don't be throwing your whole account at one thing and hoping that one thing goes up tomorrow or it better work out. It just never, ever, ever works out that way. So please remember, make sure you're trading with that master time frame. If you're investing in these markets, mean you buy and hold for long term, meaning over the next 2 or 3 years, that's your projection, that's your timeline, not what happens, over the next 2 months. If you're investing in these markets, make sure you're investing with that overall weekly trend, because just like the GDX as well too, as you can see, we actually started to do what? Lower high, 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 and then we started to break. As you can see, as soon as we started to break these highs, that there was when what? When we started to change the trend. It's simple analysis, but very, very, very powerful. Now we're seeing a move up. We're probably likely to see some sort of higher low and continue up from here. Not exactly straight away, guys, but it's coming real soon, I believe. And just make sure you continue to trade with that weekly chart, Guys, the weekly chart is the master time frame, and just be patient. Don't be so like, I've got to make money today, I've got to make money this week. That is the wrong approach. If you look, especially with the mining stocks right now, you need to be patient. And those, once again, guys, I'm going to repeat myself here. Those who were patient with Bitcoin over the last 12 months are getting rewarded handsomely right now. And I believe the exact same thing that people are doing right now with the metals and the miners, especially like Gdxj, silver and gold and those sort of things. Exactly what happened with Bitcoin over the next year or two. Well, those people, including myself, who are in these markets right now, are going to get rewarded handsomely with a lot more upside to come. But on the short term, expect a lot more volatility. That means we may get a little bit of a flush down, and that's okay as well.